In this section, we consider three different types of movements by the hands and arms that convey information. Each of these is important for understanding how public figures convey information in a manner that goes beyond mere words. Indeed, one could consider adapters, emblems, and illustrators as punctuation that provides important insights that go beyond the utterances themselves. Adapters are the manipulation of a person by themselves through such movements as scratching, fidgeting, rubbing, and touching themselves or an object. Awareness of this behavior allows inferences to be drawn about emotional disposition of a person, while those engaging in such displacement activities are often indicating high levels of stress and even anxiety. Emblems, for their part, have close formal relationships to the formal content of speech. In other words, they can refer to a concrete object or event, or even a cultural shorthand, to convey information to others, even if the person indicating the emblem is not aware of it. Finally, illustrators are used in conjunction with speech and are related in form to its semantic content, thus providing another dimension of communication between sender and receiver. During the 2008 Republican Party presidential primaries, we can see leakage with John McCain through his left hand. While his hand had been damaged during his imprisonment as a prisoner of war during the Vietnam conflict, we see that there is a level of anger seeping out. This is likely due to McCain having to work in 2008 with the Attorney General of South Carolina, who had been responsible in 2000 for running a deceptive push poll for George W. Bush in that year's South Carolina presidential primary. This push poll claimed that McCain had an illegitimate black daughter. McCain had a darker skinned daughter, but he and his wife Cindy McCain had adopted her from Bangladesh 9 years previously. We can presume that this leakage reflects his disdain at working with someone who engaged in dirty politics by attacking a loved family member, as well as halting McCain's momentum towards attaining the presidency in 2000.
Could I just mention one other thing? Both the Attorney General of South Carolina, I don't know why I mentioned South Carolina.
Because there's a primary there.
And the Attorney General of Iowa, and I don't, well, anyway.
That's too late.
In this video clip, we see a broad range of emotions by then-President Joe Biden as he debated Republican Party vice presidential candidate Paul Ryan. We can certainly see anger being displayed, but note how Biden gesticulates with his right hand. Even while holding a pen, his intent is clear.
If these cuts go through, our Navy will be the smallest it has been since before World War I. This invites weakness. Look, do we believe in peace through strength? You bet we do, and that means you don't impose these devastating cuts on our military. So we're saying don't cut the military by $1 trillion. Not increase it by $1 trillion, don't cut it by $1 trillion.
Quickly, Vice President Biden on this.
Look,
I want to move on.
We don't cut it. And I might add, this so-called, I know we don't want to use the fancy word sequester, this automatic cut, that was part of a debt deal that they asked for. And let me tell you what my friend said at a press conference announcing his support of the deal. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, we've been looking for this moment for a long time.
Can I tell you what that meant? We've been looking for bipartisanship for a long time.
And so the bipartisanship is what he voted for, the automatic cuts in defense if they didn't act. And beyond that, they asked for another. Look, the military says we need a smaller, leaner army. We need more special forces. We don't need more M1 tanks. What we need is more UAVs.
Some of the military, I know that's
not some of the military. That was the decision of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, recommended to us and agreed to by the president.
Who answers to
the
a
facts.
civilian leader.
Here, we see that different cultures use the emblems we have already seen. With this video, we see a familiar emblem used during the controversial July 16, 2018 Russia-United States summit, in which President Donald Trump apparently dismissed U.S. intelligence agency findings regarding Russia interfering in the presidential election on his behalf. Instead, Trump supported Russian President Vladimir Putin's assertion that Russia was not involved with meddling in the 2016 presidential election. In this video, pay attention to Vladimir Putin's right hand during the end of President Donald Trump's response to a question and call for human rights. Note that Putin is fluent in Russian and conversant in German and English, suggesting he was aware of what was being said. Moreover, as pointed out regarding previous video clips, pay attention to the clusters of behavior leading up to the leakage. Specifically, note the facial displays and the postural shifts throughout this clip.
That when we talk about the Syrian cooperation, the ball is in the Syrian court. Mr. Putin, in the Russian court, is it true? And how would you use this fact, the having the ball?
Well, I guess I'll answer the first part of the question. We've worked with Israel long and hard for many years, many decades. I think we've never has anyone, any country been closer than we are. President Putin also is helping Israel, and we both spoke with Bibi Netanyahu, and they would like to do certain things with respect to Syria, having to do with the safety of Israel. So in that respect, we absolutely would like to work in order to help Israel, and Israel will be working with us, so both countries would work jointly. And I think that when you look at all of the progress that's been made in certain sections with the eradication of ISIS, we're about 98%, 99% there, and other things that have taken place that we've done, and that, frankly, Russia has helped us with in certain respects. But I think that working with Israel is a great thing, and creating safety for Israel is something that both President Putin and I would like to see very much. One little thing I might add to that is the helping of people, because you have such horrible, if you see, and I've seen reports and I've seen pictures, I've seen just about everything. And if we can do something to help the people of Syria get back into some form of shelter and on a humanitarian basis, and that's what the word was, really, a humanitarian basis. I think that both of us would be very interested in doing that, and we will do that. Okay? Thank you very much.
Peter Bull, in his 2012 book, Microanalysis in Political Communication, Claptrap and Ambiguity, stated that gesture may be seen not just as an alternative to speech, but as an additional resource, as part of a multi-channel system of communication which allows the skilled speaker further options through which to convey meaning. He goes on to note that the majority of hand movements were related directly or indirectly to vocal stress, with hand and arm movement timed to occur at the same time as a vocalic stress. One way of considering the use of arms and hands is that public figures use them in a similar manner as do orchestra conductors. We see batons and three-part lists conducting the audience and their response. One particular pattern is most effective, and that is the three-part baton, with two setting the pattern and the third breaking the pattern. This approach is seen in music and in humorous comments, with interest established and then a benign violation of expectations. With this final clip, we go back to where the Trump presidency truly started, the first presidential primary debate on Fox News. Here, note how Donald Trump responds to a critical question, and through his use of a cluster of nonverbal behaviors, including most obviously posturing up and illustrators, brings the audience into play through their observable audience response. In essence, Trump plays the role of a conductor for the audience's response on his behalf.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account
Only
has
Rosie
several...
O'Donnell.
No, it wasn't. Your Twitter account...
Thank you.
For the record, it was well beyond Rosie O'Donnell.
Yes, I'm sure it was.
Your Twitter account has several disparaging comments about women's looks. You once told a contestant on Celebrity Apprentice it would be a pretty picture to see her on her knees. Does that sound to you like the temperament of a man we should elect as president? And how will you answer the charge from Hillary Clinton, who is likely to be the Democratic nominee, that you are part of the war on women?
I think the big problem this country has is being politically correct. I've been challenged by so many people, and I don't frankly have time for total political correctness. And to be honest with you, this country doesn't have time either. This country is in big trouble. We don't win anymore. We lose to China. We lose to Mexico, both in trade and at the border. We lose to everybody. And frankly, what I say, and oftentimes it's fun, it's kidding, we have a good time, what I say is what I say. And honestly, Megyn, if you don't like it, I'm sorry. I've been very nice to you, although I could probably maybe not be based on the way you have treated me, but I wouldn't do that. But you know what? We need strength, we need energy, we need quickness, and we need brain in this country to turn it around. That I can tell you right now.